Thank you for joining Judah Family Christian Center with Bishop-elect Calvin Smith. The title of the message, you've got to stick with it. The blessing is there.
So excited. I would rather be nowhere else right now than in the house of the Lord. Amen. I would rather be with nobody or no other people than y'all. Amen. Amen. Somebody give God a wave offering. Amen. Give God. Amen. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. So I'm trying to stick with this mic. Just they spoiled me with the cordless, right? Then the cordless broke. They blamed me for the short in the cord, but I blamed them for buying a cord too short.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, sir. Don't agree. Don't agree. Don't agree.
Anyone who knows me know that you got to catch me with my hand in the cookie jar. Crumbs around my mouth for me to take off. Amen.
You ain't your children.
Amen. Amen. So that tells you, Pastor ain't perfect. I'm still working on it.
You're working on it.
There's some things
Amen.
I ask God to just leave alone.
Amen.
Amen. No, it's good to life. It's good to life. So this morning, I got what I declare as a hot one for you this morning.
All right.
I dare not bring you all the way into the District of Columbia, driving from your many far and near destinations. Could not feed you a word from the Lord.
Amen.
Amen. So, with that being said, how many of you, last week we talked about, the Lord told us we could not do what? Quitting cannot be an option.
That's right.
It cannot be an option. Quitting cannot be in our vocabulary.
That's right.
Amen.
Amen.
And we only quit when we think we're out of options. But as long as there's a but God, He always has an option.
That's right.
He always provides a way of escape.
Yes, Lord.
So with that being said, the Lord is really speaking to us, y'all. He's really speaking to us in this time. Because this morning, my title this morning is, you got to stick with it. The blessing is there. I dare you touch your neighbor and say, I told you. You got to stick with it. The blessing is there. Many times we get caught looking around for our blessings. And we get caught up looking to other people to bless us. And we want to give up on what the Lord told us to take possession of. Because it don't look like what we thought it would look like. It didn't come from the direction we thought it would come. But the Lord is saying the blessing is there. Stick with it.
Stick with it. Come on, girl.
Stick with it. And one of the things I'm finding out is a lot of us in a lot of areas, we lack this one thing in some areas in our lives. It's the spirit of stick to it. The spirit to hang in there. The spirit to stick it out. The spirit to overcome all the issues that are in the thing where your blessing is.
That's right.
I found out that in the diamond mines, you know all those pretty diamonds we wear?
Yes.
I'm as a man, I love diamonds.
Yes.
I love them. I like the glitz. I like the glamour. I know every man ain't Pastor Cal. That's you. peak diamond. I do. I love the chocolate diamond. I love the topaz diamond. I love the pink diamond. I love the black diamond. I love the clear diamond. I like diamonds.
Yeah.
So much, my birthday not in April. Amen. And I believe that diamonds are one of the jewels that is so unique that God hid them in mines. They have to be chiseled out.
Yeah, that's right.
They have to be beat out.
That's right.
They have to be dug out. And even when they chisel them out of the walls, they're still nowhere near perfect.
Right.
Yes, that's right.
Tell it, man. Tell it.
But because someone who is doing the work knows the value of what they're chiseling out of a wall, they see its value. They know its potential. They know its worth. They know what it's going to cost. Therefore, I don't mind putting in the work to get the result. Because going through it don't look like much. But it's a piece of work.
That's right.
It has to be beat and broken even the more. But just to find out its color and clarity, it has to be weighed for its character. And God has chiseled us out of the situations and the issues and the problems and the things that we go through because He knows our value. He knows the outcome from the beginning. Okay, I'm going somewhere. There's a man, I was flipping the channels, couldn't sleep one night. And this day, the talk show host introduced this guy. And this guy, I can't remember his name right now. I have it in my notepad. But y'all know I don't preach with notes. So Google him when y'all need to do it. And he was a young white guy. And so he was in his garage. He likes to invent things. And he said, they said, how did you come up with this? He said, I was in my garage working on another invention, and my doorbell rung, and I had to leave my garage, go through the kitchen, through the living room, through the front room, just to get to the door. Just to find out it was somebody selling something. I got so mad, and then on my way back, I said, they should have something where I could open the door for my garage. He said, then he was working on the same invention. Somebody else came to his door. He ran through the garage, through the kitchen, through the living room, through the front room to answer the door. Somebody he didn't want to talk to. Walking back to his garage on his invention, he said, there should be something on your cell phone that should let you see who is at the door. He stood in his garage and he top shelved what he was working on to work on his new idea of bringing a visual to wherever you are to see who's ringing your doorbell. And he introduced this product and called it Ring. Oh! He said that he couldn't get the Apple license at first because, so he had to go a roundabout to get an app, to get a camera, to make it coded to his phone, to be able to see. Then he said, now I need a doorbell that's linked to the camera that would be to my app that would come to my phone. So he created the concept. Even though doors were being slammed in his face, he created the concept and called it Ring. He got his licenses, his patents, so now I go back to Apple. And Apple says, work on it a little bit more. I just don't see how this would sell.
Wow.
He now has this product that has a license, it has a patent, but he can't get nobody to finance it, to take it to the next level. He got some choices here. He could quit, but I have too much invested at this point. I got time, I got energy, I got sleepless nights, I have my thoughts and ideas, my genius is behind this, and I've invested my money. Invested so much money, why you want to put me out? But he says, I'm going to stick with it because I know that this is a product of the future. People will use this. They need this. And he said, what about the older lady, the senior, who's in the bathtub? They can't run out to the door.
Right.
What about the mom who's at work and someone's knocking on her door and her children are locked in safely? And what about the dad who is a soccer dad? He's at his game but he can't see who's knocking at his door. What about the person who's at home waiting on a package and they don't trust the neighborhood, so they got to keep looking or asking neighbors to look out for my package? He said, no, I want to create this device so that you can do it all. Even though doors were being slammed in his face, he said, no, I got too much invested. I can quit and go back to what I top shelf, but I don't feel like the time is for that. The time is for this.
That's right. That's right.
So he said he went and put in an application upon application upon application, and he got called by Shark Tank. Oh, when you get called by Shark Tank, you're going to sit before the billionaires and present your product. And somebody, Mr. Wonderful, David John, all these billionaires with a B, will invest in my product. He went on Shark Tank, and he got the door slammed in his face, not one time. For that reason, I'm out. I don't see it's going to happen. For that reason, I'm out. I don't see this product going anywhere, and for that reason, I'm out. You know, I could use this on QVC, but it just won't sell on QVC. It's not an everyday product, and so for that reason, I'm out. 5 different doors, billionaires, slammed in his face. And now, what do? I've got time, I've got money, I've got energy, my relationship is on the line, my bills are on the line. Do I quit? No, because I got a vision. I know that this is what I'm supposed to do. He leaves Shark Tank, where he gets all this exposure on TV.
Okay.
And then the phone rings. Ask me how many days it took for the phone to ring. How many days? 3.
3 days.
3 days later, he gets a phone call from Apple. Apple says, hey, man. Long time no hear from you. Hey, look, we sorry, but we wasn't with you then, and now we see what you did in Shark Tank. I watched you on TV.
Yes.
I want you to fly out here to LA.
Okay.
He said, fly? Me? Pay? No. We're sending a check for you. Oh, look it to the sucky now, baby. Y'all sending planes for me? Oh, say bye-bye to American Airlines. Down to Spirit. Southwest. Just going west. So we sit down with him, Valinda, and say, look, we like your product. Tell us how it works. You ring the doorbell, you walk up, there's a blue sensor, you walk up, it turns on. It comes, it rings my phone, let me know somebody's at my door, it creates a visual, and I can talk to you from wherever I am while you're at my door. Apple says we can make this better. He says, okay, what you got, Apple? him an envelope with a proposal to purchase his company, his idea, his license, his...
Yes.
Apple offers him $2 billion. A lot of zeros, people.
Yeah.
So glad I wish that was me. He said, $2 billion? There's something we ain't got to pray for. There's something we ain't got to pray about. I ain't got to phone a friend, telegram, telephone, tell them nothing to nobody. When I saw the 2 with the comma and the 0, 0, 0, comma, 0, 0, 0, comma, 0. Then the offer says, not just $2 billion, but we want you to run the company. Now that comes with a $2 billion check for the business. Now I'm the CEO. And I get a paycheck from...
Have mercy, Jesus.
I'm telling you, if you stick with it, the blessing is right there. I can't quit when it looks bad. When things don't go my way, and when I get a few doors slammed in my face, I gotta stick with it because I gotta know the thing that I'm connected to is the thing that God will use to bless me. So there was a man in the Bible, Brother Calvin, a man in the Bible, who recognized he was walking with his ring. He was hanging with his ring. He was with his ring. He knew that he had something that he was going to give to me one day, and the day would come, but I got to stick to it even though he keep telling me no.
Come on now.
Woo. If y'all would run with me to 2 Kings, I'll tell you all about it.
All right. Let's talk about it. Yes.
2 Kings chapter number 2. Meet these men here.
That's right.
2 Kings chapter number 2, verse 1, and it says, and it came to pass, when the Lord was about to take Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind, that Elijah went with Elisha from Gilgal. Then Elijah said to Elisha, stay here. Come here, Elisha. Come here, Elisha. Elisha knew Elijah had something. So he said, then Elisha said to Elisha, he said, stay here. Please, for the love of God, stay here. For the Lord has sent me to Bethel. But Elisha said, as the Lord lives, as your soul lives, I will not leave you. So they went down to Bethel. They go to Bethel. Elijah's trying so hard to shake Elisha. Trying so hard. But see, I don't want to look at Elisha right now. I want to look at, pay a focus on the stick-to-itiveness of Elisha. His connectivity. His commitment to serve his man of God. Because see, your commitment goes beyond your man of God. Your commitment is to your man of God, but you're working for the Lord. I think sometimes we get so hooked up in the people. And we forget the God's agenda. It's the same thing on your job. Y'all said it, we all have said it. You know what? I come here to do my A to leave. They ain't got to like me. Ain't none of these people on this job, my friend. I ain't got to go to y'all house. I ain't got to do that. I come here to get my bag. I don't know why I mess with my bag. I'm all right. You know how you do? You said it. You said it. I remember I used to say it all the time. I just do my A to leave. They used to tease me when I put my backpack on. They knew Cal was gone. Do your 8 and leave. But you forget about the relationships and the purpose for your being there. See, your purpose on your job is bigger than you doing your 8.
That's right.
If God hired you there, then there's a purpose for your ministry there. You're supposed to be the daylight, the sunlight, the bright spot, the morning star. You're supposed to be the representation of Christ in the marketplace. is your time sheet for real?
That's right. That's right.
But we get so stuck in, gotta get my retirement going, I gotta get my this, I gotta get my 401k, I gotta get 416k, I gotta get all K's L's again, I gotta. They pray to God about nothing. When he said, look, if you ask, you will receive. Elisha understood that serving God through his behavior with his leader was the ultimate prize of what he would get from God through the man of God. Ooh. Our relationships are not just give.
Come on now.
Our relationships are give and receive. Because even though Willis is a deacon in training, I get so much from him and he has no idea. You can't be the one doing all the talking. Sometimes you gotta listen. If you're the smartest one in your group, get a new group. You have to be open to growth and learning. You have to be. If you are a know-it-all, you ain't gonna have friends long. So Elisha's perspective is this. Elijah said, stay here. I'm gonna go to Bethel. He said, well, look here, man. I appreciate you wanting to leave me here with these people, but my mission ain't here with them. As surely as the Lord lives, and as surely as you got breath in your body, I'm going with you. I'm not disobeying you, but I have to obey the mission of God. Oh my God. So he says, he said to him, okay, now let's back up. So now the sons of the prophets have gotten into the argument. They come up to Elisha and says, who were at Bethel, they came out to Elisha and said to him, hey man, you know that the Lord gonna take away your master in a couple days, right? You know he's gonna leave today, right? His response was, yes, I know, but you be quiet. Shh. Mind your business. Ain't took it yet. So he got some more stuff to give me. Oh, you got to understand that the relationships are give and receive. Give and receive. When it's my turn to give, then it's your turn to receive. When it's your turn to give, then it's my turn to receive. God keeps relationships balanced.
Right.
And our problem is we want to help God out by keep giving. God said, I didn't tell you to do that. Everybody gets a turn to receive.
Oh.
Everybody gets a turn to receive. Somebody say prove it. Jesus gave. But when he was ready to give up in that garden, the angels had to come minister to him. It was time for him to receive. Even on the Mount of Transfiguration, when it was his time to receive, there's always our turn to receive. But this is the caveat. You only receive what you've given out. What a man gives, that's what he'll receive. Amen? So watch this. So now then Elisha said to him, Elijah said to Elisha, he said, stay here, son, please, for the Lord is sending me to Jericho. But he said, look here, bro, as the Lord lives, love you dearly, but as the Lord lives and your soul lives, I will not leave you. Bring me that, Tasha, bring me that. The separation, Elder Spain, was that he was the servant, Elisha was. Elijah was the man of God. The difference was he dressed the part. His work showed who he was. His anointing took precedence everywhere he went. So they knew who he was. But sometimes he didn't have to open his mouth. He had to close. He had the mantle. He was the prophet. I'm the man in training.
Yep.
Oh, look, I know my role. I know my place. My place is to support. It ain't my turn to lead yet.
Right.
And sometimes you gotta know where your role is, where your place is, and everything that the leader do and say you ain't gonna agree with. But because God did not call you to lead at this time, then we have to trust the God in the leader. And so now we at Jericho. So they came to Jericho. And then something happened next. Now the sons of the prophets were at Jericho. Came to Elisha and said, hey man, you know the Lord is going to take him away today. I'm so glad they talked to Elisha. Because if they had talked to Calvin, he ain't died yesterday when you said that. He didn't die the day before. And now y'all just following us, speaking death on my man.
That's right.
That ain't gonna happen. So I'm just gonna say, I know. I agree. But just be quiet. There's sometimes when people want to come with negative stuff.
Come on. Say it.
People who don't agree with stuff. The people who know the word but don't want to follow the word.
Come on.
The people who want to walk the walk but just can't seem to put 2 feet in front of the other.
Say it.
Them the ones you gotta say, I know.
Say it.
When they want to come to you complaining and bickering, oh, how about this? Trying to quantify or qualify why they keep falling over the same mess. Just say, yeah, I know. Sometimes you just gotta silence people. Don't make you keep putting your own foot in your mouth. It's okay to tell people. My barber told me his wife come to him. He said, Calvin, my barber been cutting my hair for 25 years. He said, Calvin, now, I don't go to church, but I believe. I'm saved. He said, but my wife just beat me over the head with the salvation stick every week. So whenever I come back to her with the biblical question, she says to me, now do they say me? I said, she said that to you? He said, yeah, because my question, I be wondering things. I be creating things. And so I sat back, I said, then I mumbled. Because sometimes as pastors, and they know you're a pastor, you get quizzed. On the spot. How many books in the Bible? Is it really 66? I don't know, count. Last time I counted, we're now in Jericho. He told to be quiet. So now we're going to shift again. And in verse number 6 it says, then Elijah said to him, stay here, for the Lord has sent me to the Jordan. But then he said, I understand we're going to the Jordan. As sure as the Lord lives, we'll go in and pack our bags, Pastor. Looks like we're leaving Jericho, going to the Jordan. Okay. 15 seconds commercial. I love my kids. I do. Y'all know I gotta tell my kids stories. So I want to go to San Francisco. I just want to go see San Francisco. I want to go sightsee. I want to go ride the little San Francisco tree train. I want to go to Alcatraz, eat some rice roni. I just want to go, walk a couple of hills, ride the train back. I just want to go do that. Okay. So we came on vacation. I said, I'm going to go to San Francisco for my birthday. Take about 4 days. Go see San Francisco again. Maybe in a couple of months, I want to go down to New Orleans, ride the little boat, the big boat across the Mississippi. Do some things. I'm 50 now.
Yeah. You
know, we've been over to the islands and all that pretty stuff. I want to go see some regular stuff.
Yeah.
comes in just out of nowhere, wasn't even in the room, but she be in her. Comes from nowhere and go, so, San Francisco, is that what we're doing?
Oh my God.
I said, no. She said, well, Mommy will look up the ass like, I'll check hotel. And so I had to finally go, no, you're not going. And so 2 days later, she go flop beside me. Hey, so this whole San Francisco. I mean, kids will beat you until you say, all right, man. So I can imagine how Elisha got on Elijah's nerves. But remember, we have 2 missions here. And so now he's about to set some stuff straight. We done been to Bethel. We went from Bethel to where? Jericho. Now the Lord done sent us from Jericho to Jordan. And now we're going to go to verse 7. After 50 men of the sons of the prophets went and stood facing them at a distance, while the 2 of them stood by the Jordan. Now Elijah took his mantle. He rolled it up. He took his mantle. He rolled it up. And it was divided this way that, so the 2 of them, no, he rolled it up. And he struck the water. See, here's the thing. Elijah has now come to a bank of water, but where he really needed to go was on the other side.
Okay.
Come on now. See, now I was on land. So now I'm still trying to get to the place where God wants me to meet him, so I know when it's my time to be taken up. But I can't shake my son. Can't shake my offspring, my kid. I can't shake my adjutant. I just can't shake him. And so he rolls the cloak up, even though there's a body of water in front of him. He says, now I got to perform a miracle. In order to get to the other side, my blessing is with me. Oh! See, some of us, when we hit hard times and there's nowhere to go in front of us, we got to call somebody. We got to talk to somebody. We got to cry about it and have a pity party. And the Lord has said, no, you don't need to do that. I am right here with you. Don't talk to Elder. Don't call Elder Cooley on the phone to pray with you when I'm standing right here. You don't even call your mother when I'm standing right here. You don't even call your co-worker to your bed when I'm standing right here. If you just recognize that the power of God is in your hands and what comes out of your mouth, it will move that If you know you got the Holy Ghost, I dare you for the next 30 seconds, get up out your seat and start walking and talking in your spiritual language. I dare you to challenge the Holy Spirit in you. Whatever your issue is, whatever your family issue is, whatever your problem is, whatever you're confronted with, I dare you to just tell the power of God to get the movement on it. Get to moving on it, God. Move by your spirit, God.
Yes, move by your spirit. Hallelujah.
Move by your spirit, God.
Move by your spirit.
I want my children to say, move by your spirit. I need healing in my body. Move by your spirit. Move by your spirit, God. I need my finances healed. Move by your spirit, God. I need an answer on my living situation. God, move by your spirit. God, approve my loan. Move by your spirit. God, I'm dealing with grief in my heart. Move by your spirit. There's a body of water in front of me. This thing is weighing on me, God. My flesh cannot contain it. Move by your spirit.
Yeah, my son. Yeah, my son.
Move by your spirit. Allow what you say to strike the water. Allow what you say to strike the water. This Jordan ain't bad. Move by your spirit. If you divided the water for Moses, then you'll do it for me. If you divided the water for Joshua, then you'll do it for me. I dare you to scream, God, move by your spirit. The Bible says that Elijah took the mantle, rolled it up, and he struck the water. And when he struck it, it divided. And it went their separate ways. And then the two of them walked over on dry ground. Remember, I'm looking at it from Elisha's perspective. I see your relationship with God. Amen. You mean you rolled up the thing that's valuable to you. See, there are times when God don't mind you laying it all on the line.
That's right, that's right.
If the cloak is more valuable, that you won't use it as a weapon, then keep it. But if you understand that the thing that I give you represents my presence, then use it. The thing about God is, he made everything. If the water soaked this, he'll get somebody to make another one. If a wave sweep this away, he'll get you another one. But Elijah knew what he was contending with because he rolled it up.
Thank you, Jesus.
He didn't lay it like a gentleman would do in this hour of chivalry so a woman can walk over. No, he rolled that thing up because he recognized the power that was with him.
Hallelujah.
He struck the water divided. And then verse 9 says, that first 4 words got me. So I'm going to prophesy right now to about 80 of y'all that walked around for real, and told God to move by his spirit, and so it shall be. I dare you to touch yourself and say, God, I thank you, so it is. As a matter of fact, you might want to get up and give him that praise because you got some instantaneous and so it is. That means it happened after he did it. Now, about 8 of y'all gonna get it right now. As a matter of fact, it already happened because the Bible said, and so it was. Somebody's loan just got approved and you didn't even know about it. You ain't got the call yet. Somebody's new job was just, somebody was just hired. The decision was just made. And so it was. Right there. I can stop preaching right there for real. If you believe that it's you, make a choice for Lord. I hear the Spirit of the Lord say, 8 of y'all, and so it was. If you touch yourself and God, I thank you because it was me, I was one of them. Rita, have you ever seen somebody when there wasn't any more seats on a bus or in a car, and they say, well, ain't no more seats in here. And they say, look, girl, scoot over. Let me sit on your lap. Look, I got to get on this bus. If you stable with the 8 seats, though, if I'm number 9 and I saw there ain't no more, I'm sitting on somebody's lap. I'm getting in there, baby. I'm going to squeeze. I'm going to get in. Don't move over just a little bit. I'm going to squeeze. You got to. Yeah. As a matter of fact, you might want to minister to me while you sit there. Make it feel uncomfortable just for a little while. Work with me. I can't even look at them and say, I need this. I don't care how skinny you are. I don't care how old you are. How bad your thighs is. Look, I'll get up. Sit down. Get up. Sit down. Get in on this. You can sit here and doze off and sleep all you want. You listen to me.
That's right.
So every now and again, you get that friend that say, you know what? I don't want it all by myself. Come on, come on. We're in that group. You got that one person that's going to say, I just can't believe they're going to squeeze it. Yeah, because something's about to happen. I can't even tell you what they can move on. Something about to happen. I can't even know. I said, come on, move it. Bring it up a little bit. As a matter of fact, I hear the Lord saying, you better get in before I shut the door. That's why sometimes you got to move things around. Oh, look at the neighbor saying it's about to go down. The very thing I've been praying for and asking for is about to. It's only going to be uncomfortable for a minute, but it's going down. And you can't possess it all yourself. Invite somebody in. Even Publishers Clearinghouse got the revelation. You can win 5,000, and then they gonna give you another 5 to bless somebody else. You can be able to say, I'm gonna invite you in. You can't have it all yourself. God is looking at your spirit. He don't want no selfish spirit. He want a giving spirit. If you bless them, then I need to know that if I bless you, I need to know that you're going to bless somebody else. I just heard the Lord Jordan.
That's right.
Because he had one more thing to hurdle before he get what he wanted.
Right.
Come on now.
One more thing to hurdle. One more thing to hurdle. But Elijah hit that water with that cloak because he wanted Elijah. And I should have seen, is there anything too hard for God?
Come on now.
The Bible says it so clearly. It says, when they had crossed over.
Cross over. Come on now.
Only God can bring the present and the past together to make it go right now. That's it. And when they had crossed, ED, over, that means they were already on the other side of the problem. I dare you to turn and prophesy and say you're already over the problem. We're already over it. We're already over it. We're already over it. You got the house. You're over the problem. Some of us were already over it, we just didn't know it.
It can't be already over it.
And when they had, no, go back, and when they had crossed over, it was then Elijah said to Elisha,
That's right.
y'all missed it. God did it backwards. Elijah didn't ask him, tell him to ask nothing till after they had crossed it. He told us for a few minutes ago to walk around and declare it before, because he knew he had already crossed over it. He knew he had already brought us over it. We've already come through it. You can now look back at it and tell it bye. Because I've crossed over you, baby. I'm done with it. I'm walking in a new place. Now, what's my new place? Ask me, what's my new place?
What's that new place?
Asking.
Come on now.
Elijah says, he looked at Elisha and his spirit of stick-to-itiveness, not letting him go, honoring the Father by the work he's doing with the man of God. He says, as a matter of fact, Bob, I want to believe in my spirit of spirits. He didn't say that nicely. Because there's a hard exclamation point behind the word ask. He turned to him with some attitude and said, ask. He knew he wanted something from him.
Come on now.
I know I got something for you. I know you got something for me. Ask.
That's right.
Y'all beat around the bush, just ask.
That's right. Just say.
He says, what may I do for you?
My God.
What you want me to do before I'm taken up from you? Elisha said, please, please, sir, in the words of a Christian when he wants something, please, kind sir. Whenever he wants something, I'm kind sir. And then when he get it, he'll go, ain't know what the pastor say to each other. I said, oh, to each other. Don't even know he's speaking what he's speaking. He said last night, please, kind sir. Ask. He says, please let a double portion of your spirit.
Double portion. Come on now.
I don't want gold. I don't want silver. I don't want a house on the hill. I don't want cars. I don't want money. He said, because if I get your spirit, all that stuff mine anyway.
Double portion, God. Yeah.
If I get a double portion of your spirit, I don't need a house. I got somewhere to stay in every city I go to. If I get a double portion of your spirit, I don't need no car. They're going to pick me up from the airport and drive me around. I don't need no money. They're going to feed me along the way.
That's right.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you,
That's what
Lord.
it means.
He said, let a double portion of your spirit fall upon me. And then in the next verse, he says this. So he said, you asked a pretty hard thing, bro. You asked a hard thing. Now here's the thing. I had to look this up. Because he makes a double-tongued statement here. He tells him in one line, you asked a hard thing. But then he says, nevertheless.
That's right.
Then he says, nevertheless, if you see me when I'm taken up,
Come on now.
then it shall be so for you. But if not, it shall not be so. If you see me when I am taken up, then it shall be so. But if not, so this is what I got from this. It wasn't his to give.
Right.
Oh, I'm going to go somewhere with this Calvin and I'm going to quit. I promise. It wasn't his to give. Because the anointing of God is for you. And I can't give you something that I don't own.
Right.
The anointing is on loan to me. To do the will of he that sent me. So I can't give you nothing that ain't mine. He says, but nevertheless, this is what I want to use to those who come to church sometimes. This is why you miss it when you ain't here. Because you ain't here. I'm letting it marinate. What he told him in English, if you're there when I'm caught up, then it's yours. But if you don't come to church that day, then it won't be.
Right.
Why you choose church, Pastor? Because what you was about to witness is a move between the spirit and the flesh. And God is going to come down, meet me, take me up in my spirit and my flesh, but he's going to leave my anointing with you on top of what you already got that you don't know you got. I used to always think Elijah gave him 2 of these. No. Because double is 2. No. What Elijah did was turned on what was in him, then took what he had, come here, and as Elijah was being caught up, that thing fell off him. Because I am in the anointed place. I no longer need an anointing. I turned on what you got and gave you mine. Now you got 2. So what he left him was his inheritance.
That's right.
He left him his will. A wise man leaves his children a will. A not so wise man leaves them a won't.
Say it again,
Y'all slow today.
All right.
A wise man stores up for his children's children.
Absolutely.
A not so wise one leave them to bury him. But I believe in my spirit this morning that the struggle that you've been dealing with, God said you've already crossed over. Stand to your feet. Bethel couldn't hold you. Jericho couldn't hold you. I couldn't give it to you in Bethel. I couldn't give it to you in Jericho. I couldn't even give it to you at the Jordan. I had to wait until we went through and crossed over. Last thing, Francine, I'm gonna quit. Why he didn't give it to him at the river? Why didn't he give it to him right there? We're standing right here at the beach. Ain't nobody out here but us. The water is there. God is there. God is here. Just me and you. Why couldn't you give it to me here?
That's right. That's
Because
right.
you would have never had an appreciation for going through. You would have never had an appreciation for the miracle of walking through on dry ground. The spirit of hanging in there. The spirit of not quitting. The spirit of not listening to other people. The prophets that said, I was going to take you a week ago. You know your man God going to die next week. You know he's going to die today. They said today 3 times. But I got to take you through some stuff in order for you to gain an appreciation when you get what you believe in me for. I don't mind you enjoying it, says the Lord. But you have to gain an appreciation for the process.
Yes.
Once you gain an appreciation for the process, you'll respect it.
That's right.
And then you'll have a greater respect for me, said the Lord.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Going through, coming out on the other side, allows you to gain relationship with me. That if I brought you through this time, I'll do it again. It builds your trust, but it builds my character. It builds your trust, but it builds your faith as well.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I want your faith so built, said God, that you'll trust me with everything.
Amen.
Thank you. My God.
And in this time, you've trusted, you've had faith. Even those of you that are among us that had the faith the size of a mustard seed, it was enough to get you over.
Right. Yes.
That's right.
And he says, now we've come to here. I have given you what you've asked. Now God is asking you, where do we go from here? You've got what you've asked for. You've been through the process. Guess what? Seek me for the answer.
That's right.
And I'll show you